What would you do if the man who saved your life was the most dangerous person in London? Rain hammered against the cobblestones of East London as Sophie Chen sprinted through the alley, her lungs burning with each desperate breath. Blood trickled down her temple where Marcus had struck her. Behind her, she could hear his footsteps echoing, getting closer. "You can't run forever, Sophie." Marcus's voice ricocheted off the brick walls. "You saw what you saw. You think the police can protect you?" She had been so stupid. Working as an accountant for what she thought was a legitimate import business, until 3 hours ago when she'd walked into the warehouse and witnessed Marcus Petrov, her boss, her boyfriend, execute a man in cold blood. The betrayal cut deeper than the fear. Sophie's heel caught on the wet pavement. She stumbled, crashed against a dumpster, her phone skittering into a puddle. Destroyed. No one knew where she was. No one was coming. Marcus emerged from the shadows, flanked by 2 men she recognized from the office. The street light gleamed off the gun in his hand. "I loved you," Sophie whispered, tears mixing with rain on her cheeks. "How could you love?" Marcus laughed bitterly. "This is business, Malaire. You should have stayed in your lane." He raised the gun. A black Mercedes appeared out of nowhere, tires screeching as it cut between them. The passenger door flew open. "Get in," a deep voice commanded. "Now." Sophie didn't think. She launched herself into the car. Gunshots exploded behind her as the Mercedes tore down the street, the door slamming shut from the momentum. She looked at her savior, and her blood ran cold. Dominic Ashford. The ghost of London. Every newspaper called him that. The most powerful and elusive crime boss in the city. Cold grey eyes, sharp jawline, a scar cutting through his left eyebrow. He wore a 3-piece suit like armor. Sophie had jumped from the frying pan straight into hell. "Don't even think about opening that door," Dominic said without looking at her, his voice like gravel and silk. "We're doing 90 through central London." You're Dominic Ashford," Sophie stammered. "Observant." He took a sharp turn, checking the rearview mirror. "Marcus Petrov is Bratva, Russian Mafia. You witnessed a territorial execution. That makes you a very valuable, very dead witness. Then why did you save me?" His jaw tightened. "Because I don't kill innocent people. Unlike some." The Mercedes pulled through iron gates into an estate that took Sophie's breath away. A Georgian mansion sprawled before them, lit up like a palace against the night sky. "Welcome to Ashford Manor," Dominic said, finally looking at her. Something flickered in those cold eyes. Concern? "Impossible. You'll stay here until I can guarantee your safety." "I should go to the police." "Half the Metropolitan Police are on someone's payroll. You go to them, you're dead by morning." He got out, came around, and opened her door. "I'm not asking, Miss Chen. Your options are my protection or Marcus Petrov's bullet. Choose." Sophie's room was larger than her entire flat. 4-poster bed, ensuite bathroom with a clawfoot tub, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens she couldn't see in the darkness. A knock. Dominic entered with a first aid kit. "You're bleeding," he said, gesturing to her temple. "I'm fine. Sit." The command in his voice made her obey. He pulled up a chair, and his touch was surprisingly gentle as he cleaned the wound. This close, she could see he was younger than she'd thought, maybe 35, with exhaustion carved into the lines around his eyes. "Why were you there?" she asked quietly. "In that alley. Tonight." His hands paused. "I was tracking Petrov. He's been expanding into my territory. I didn't expect to find you." "Your territory? You mean you're just like him?" Dominic's eyes met hers, and for a moment, she saw something roar beneath the ice. "No, Miss Chen. I'm nothing like him. I have rules. I protect my people. I don't prey on the innocent." He finished bandaging her wound. "Get some rest. We'll talk strategy in the morning." At the door, he stopped. "And Sophie? Don't be afraid. Not here. Not of me." It was the first time he'd used her name. 3 days passed. Sophie learned the rhythms of Ashford Manor, the staff who treated her with quiet kindness, the gardens where she walked each morning, the library where she lost herself in books. And Dominic, who was everywhere and nowhere. She'd catch glimpses of him, on the phone speaking rapid Italian, meeting with stern-faced men in his study, standing at his office window at 2 a.m. like sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford. He kept his distance. Professional. Protected. Until the fourth night. Sophie found him in the library at midnight, tie loosened, whiskey in hand, staring at a photo frame he quickly tucked into his desk drawer. "Can't sleep?" she asked. He looked up, surprised. "Occupational hazard. You? Every time I close my eyes, I see." She wrapped her arms around herself. "I keep wondering how I didn't know. I loved him. How did I not see what he really was?" Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Monsters are good at wearing human faces. It's how they hunt. He poured another glass of whiskey, offered it to her. "It's not your fault, Sophie." She took it, sat down across from him. "The photo you hid. Who was it?" His walls slammed back up. "No one." "Dominic." She didn't know why she pushed. Maybe because she'd seen the grief flash across his face. "You know everything about me. My favorite tea, that I walk in the gardens at dawn, that I'm terrified but trying not to show it. Give me something real." He stared at her for so long she thought he'd leave. Then, "Her name was Lily. My younger sister." His voice was hollow. 8 years ago, she testified against a trafficking ring. I was already in the life, but not powerful enough to protect her properly. They killed her before the trial. He drained his glass. "That's why I have rules. That's why I saved you. Because I couldn't save her." Sophie's heart cracked. "Dominic, I'm so sorry." "Don't." He stood abruptly. "Don't pity me. I'm not a good man, Sophie. I've done things that would make you run screaming. I'm telling you this so you understand. I will keep you safe. Whatever it costs. But don't mistake protection for anything else." He left before she could respond. But Sophie had seen the truth. Beneath the ice and armor, Dominic Ashford was just a man still bleeding from a wound that never healed. A week in, Marcus made his move. Sophie was in the gardens when the first explosion rocked the east wing. Gunfire erupted. Dominic's men scrambled into defensive positions. "Sophie!" Dominic appeared, grabbed her arm. "With me. Now." They ran through the mansion as windows shattered. He pulled her into a hidden passageway behind the library shelves. "There's a safe room," he said, pushing her forward. "Reinforced steel, separate exit." "What about you?" "I'm ending this." "No." Sophie grabbed his jacket. "You can't go out there. He'll kill you." Dominic's eyes softened for just a heartbeat. "Sophie. I've lost everyone I thought I could trust. Please." Her voice broke. "Please don't make me lose you too." Something changed in his face. Without thinking, she pulled him down and kissed him, desperate, terrified, real. He froze. Then his arms came around her, and he kissed her back like a drowning man finding air. Like she was the only good thing in his dark world. Gunfire snapped them apart. "Stay here," he commanded, but his hand lingered on her cheek. "I promise I'll come back." Sophie watched him disappear into the chaos, and prayed to anyone listening that it wasn't a lie. 20 minutes later, silence fell. The safe room door opened. Dominic stood there, suit torn, blood on his knuckles, but alive. So beautifully alive. Sophie threw herself at him. He caught her, held her tight. "It's over," he murmured into her hair. "Petrov's in custody. Turns out the police I do trust were very interested in his operation. You're safe, Sophie. You're safe." She pulled back to look at him. "And what about us? Was that kiss just adrenaline?" "No." His thumb traced her jaw. "That kiss was the first honest thing I've felt in 8 years. But Sophie, you deserve better than." "Don't you dare," she interrupted fiercely. "Don't you dare decide what I deserve. You've spent 8 years punishing yourself. Maybe it's time to let yourself live again. You want to be with a man like me? My world is dangerous. So teach me to be dangerous too." She smiled through tears. "I'm not afraid, Dominic. Not of you. Not anymore. He kissed her again, slower this time. Full of promise. Don't be afraid, he whispered against her lips. Never again. 6 months later. The chapel on the Ashford estate was filled with white roses and soft candlelight. No press, no spectacle, just close friends and the family Dominic had chosen. Sophie stood in her dress, elegant ivory, simple and perfect, and watched Dominic wait for her at the altar. He looked at her like she'd hung every star in the sky. You look terrified, she teased when she reached him. Terrified I'll wake up and this won't be real, he admitted quietly. The ceremony was short. When the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Dominic cradled her face like she was made of light. My fearless wife, he murmured. My reformed monster, she teased back. As they walked back down the aisle, hand in hand, Sophie caught sight of a framed photo Dominic had placed at the entrance, Lily, smiling in the sunshine. He'd told Sophie once that Lily would have liked her. Would have loved her fierce heart. Outside, instead of a traditional reception line, Dominic pulled Sophie close. No regrets, he asked. Sophie thought about that terrified girl in the alley, running for her life. About finding safety in the most unexpected place. About learning that sometimes the monsters we fear and the heroes we need wear the same face. Not a single one, she said. You saved me, Dominic. No, Solnishko. He kissed her forehead. You saved me. As they drove away from the chapel, the gates of Ashford Manor closing behind them, Sophie realized something profound. She'd spent her whole life playing it safe, being careful, following the rules. It took falling into danger to finally feel alive. And it took the ghost of London to teach her that love isn't about being safe, it's about choosing someone worth the risk. Behind them, the mansion stood like a fortress. Not a prison anymore, but a home. A place where fear had no power. Where two broken people had found each other in the darkness and decided to build their own light. The bravest thing I ever did was continue my life when I wanted to die. Juliette Lewis. For everyone who ever found love in the most unexpected place. For everyone who learned that sometimes, the person who saves us isn't who we expected at all.